Thanks for clicking on the Wayne.com sports page to watch Inside the Zone Week 8 of the high school football season. He's Justin Kinney of the News Sentinel. I'm Glenn Marini. And Justin, playoffs are right around the corner. Conferences are being decided. Some could be decided this week.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting time to be a high school football fan in general.
Isn't it? And it's nice that a couple of the conferences are going right now. I mean, NE8, a couple weeks ago we thought that was all wrapped up with Leo, but now it's wide open, so it's kind of fun.
Let's start off with the NE8 then, because
Okay.
a huge matchup between New Haven and East Noble. Obviously, Belmont sits alone at the top of the conference, undefeated in conference. They've got some games coming up, but this is a game where if you're either of those teams and you want to have a chance to win a conference championship or a share of a conference championship, you have to win.
Yeah, New Haven needs help. Obviously, they need Belmont to lose twice over the last 2 weeks. East Noble sits there, and they have a real chance, especially playing Belmont next week. So that's a huge game. East Noble gets Andrew McCormick back. That's huge for their offense, not only at quarterback, but they like to move him around and put him out wide to catch some passes too. So New Haven, I mean, they're 0 for 2 in the big games they've played this year, so it's really tough to really look at it and say, well, does New Haven have a shot? Because they've kind of dropped 2 duds against Leo and Belmont. So, what do we expect?
Yeah, and a lot of people pick them as one of the classiest teams of the conference at the beginning of the season, but you take a look at the game against Belmont, it wasn't necessarily that they lost because Decatur's a tough place to go down. It was that they were not in control at all in the first half. I mean, Belmont took control, beat them 31-14, and not that it was never in doubt, but Belmont had control of that game from the get-go. Yeah,
they got ahead, scored a couple quick touchdowns, and then New Haven scored, and it looked like, okay, they're going to come back, but then Belmont came back and scored to really go up, an insurmountable lead. So, yeah, it's after what we saw against Leo, and you're expecting, well, New Haven just kind of, could hit a rough patch. Now they play another good team in Belmont and can't get that offense on track either. So, at this point, you're really looking at them, and maybe they're the 4th best team in that conference in the Northeast 8, and even just a couple weeks ago, I think, we wouldn't have thought that at all. So.
Yeah, and as far as East Noble goes, you mentioned the return of Andrew McCormick. Zach Jenkins has done a nice job. We've seen him used in different packages throughout the season, although with McCormick as the main guy. He's played pretty well in McCormick's absence, though.
Yeah, it was like a slow start a little bit last week with the offense, but once he got going, they were fine. So East Noble kind of cruised last week. McCormick's back. I think that's huge for them. Like I mentioned, you can split him out wide. He's just such a phenomenal athlete. Now, the question is, can New Haven score enough points? Because they haven't scored much against Leo and Belmont. This is another tough defense in East Noble. Can they score enough? You don't think it would be an issue with Nishan Jones and Keyshawn Moore and guys like that and Tyon Woods, but they just have not been able to score points against good teams.
And this game is in Kendallville, not the easiest place to play.
Not at all.
You don't like to go up there and play, especially if you're in a must-win scenario, because they have so many fans. It's a great place to watch a football game on Friday night. If you're East Noble, what's the biggest key in this game against the athleticism that is New Haven?
Well, obviously, you just can't let Nishan Jones and Keyshawn Moore really run rampant and run crazy. And Tyon Woods, too, you got to account for him in the passing game. Just, identify their athletes. And play solid football because, New Haven is yet to prove that against a very good team, they can play 4 quarters of clean football. So if you put 4 quarters of clean football together against them, make them play and make them prove us wrong. But we haven't seen it yet against a good quality opponent.
We've been talking about the New Haven offense. I've got to tell you, I don't know if anybody has improved more from last year to this year than Keyshawn Moore, though, at quarterback for New Haven, making really good decisions and making big plays, utilizing the guys like Tyon Woods and Buddy Jones and everything that he's got.
Yeah, as a sophomore, made a lot of mistakes, a lot of sophomore mistakes, and I think the question was, well, as a junior, is he going to clean those things up? And he has. He's done a tremendous job, like you mentioned, limiting the turnovers and getting the ball in the hands of his playmakers. And he's done a phenomenal job as just a junior. He should take the next step next year as a senior for the Bulldogs.